фильм посвящен десятилетию независимости Республики Казахстан и, само собой, десятилетию всех тех событий, которые произошли в августе 1991 года. Работая советником президента США, вы предполагали, что Советский Союз уже в то время стоит на грани распада?
I believed that the Soviet Union would have to fall apart. And there were two reasons for it. One, that the communist ideology was a very primitive doctrine, relevant only to the early industrial age. And it did not provide any guidance, any sense of direction to the new post-industrial technotronic age into which America entered in the 1950s. The Soviet Union remained stagnant in the industrial age with an old-fashioned doctrine. Secondly, the Soviet Union was a Russian empire. It really was not a union. It was a Russian empire. All the decisions were made in Moscow. Most important political control was exercised by Russians. Even in the so-called national republics, the second secretary was always a Russian, and he usually had more power than the first secretary. And I felt that in the age of nationalism, that kind of an imperial system would have to collapse.
Как вы считаете, что-то могло спасти Советский Союз или не привести к такому быстрому распаду?
I don't think the Soviet Union could have avoided disintegration. Maybe it could have been a little slower if perestroika had been less chaotic, less consistent. I have visited China many times, and I have talked quite often to Deng Xiaoping. Deng Xiaoping even came to my house privately on a visit in Washington. And I was impressed by the consistent, logical, well-controlled process of reform in China. Under Gorbachev, perestroika would go this way, that way, change its policies, announce 500 days reforms, then 800 days reforms, and in the end it created chaos.
Скажите, после того, как распался Советский Союз, появились новые независимые республики. Насколько высоко вы оценивали шансы, что они сохранят свой суверенитет?
I thought it was not certain that they would, but I felt very strongly that a very major aspect of American policy towards that entire area that used to be the Soviet Union should be concentration on helping the newly independent states become stable and to remain independent. And I felt that Ukraine, Azerbaijan, Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan were among the most important, and that we should really make an effort to establish a personal relationship with their leaders and help their national elites to consolidate political power.
Он думал, что Казахстан, Узбекистан, Азербайджан, Украина — это те страны, которые должны, которым это самые важные страны, и Америка должна была помогать им, и чтобы объединить власть в этих странах, и что Америка должна была помочь им.
Установить независимость.
И установить элиту, национальную элиту этих стран.
То есть как бы вы помогали становлению этих государств, и это была из основных целей помочь странам обрести свою независимость.
Yes, and earlier, in 1977 already, I convinced the President of the United States to undertake a special program of helping the non-Russian elites to strengthen their political identity, to strengthen their sense of nationalism.
Скажите, вот 10 лет прошло, наверняка вы внимательно следите за всеми теми событиями, которые происходят на постсоветском пространстве. Не могли бы вы оценить просто результаты, как эти 10 лет прожили советские республики?